Hi everyone. Today we will look at generators. So we know the list comprehension syntax, right? So I can write say 2 plus 1 for range, basically gives the odd integers, right? And so the generator syntax is very simple. All we have to do is give just make the parentheses regular parentheses, not the square one. And so now we have constructed a generator. So this is an iterator itself. So generators are iterators, so its own iterators. So it gives like as an iterator, it gives only one element at a time. So we can pass into x, for example, and if I say next, right, I can say next x1, next x1, or x dot next, so this one, if you call this one, this is the easy syntax, it actually internally calls this one. And as I said, if I ask, right, if I say I equal to it x, right, I can ask I is x. Yes, true, means generators are its own iterators, and so we can, if you want, for example, another example, for example, I can say, if I want to get the squares of numbers, right, as an iterator, I can say c equal to that, and c is, and I can say next c, right, and c. So basically this, it gives one element at a time, as I said. So we can also write, this is generators, we can also write as a function. So in the function form, so if I say f equal to say g or n, we will just say for I in range n, and normally we will write something like return, right, return 2 star I plus 1, right? So instead of return, what we are going to do is we'll say yield. We'll use an yield expression. So now if I say g odd, right, it's a function itself, but now if I say something like g odd, say for 10, so it's a generator, so we can pass it to say call x, and then if I say next, say next x, it gives me one element at a time. So the single line syntax, like here we can write this way or this way, but the point is, when you use a function form, we can write more complicated multi-line statement, and we may need sometimes, right, or depending upon the complexity of your code, you may need to write a function itself. So it's very useful. And one of the things is that we can, for example, we have seen that we can, if you look at here, I can construct, for example, I can take a list, right, 1 2 3 4, and we have seen that I can make an iterator out of that, right? I can just say, if I say x equal to that, and if I say it, I can construct an iterator out of that, right? But if I take here this x equal to 10, but let's do it again, and if I say next x and next x, it only supports one iterator at a time, which means I can, if I say I equal to iter x next I, see, it starts from where it left off, 1 3, next is coming to be 5, right? It is not start giving me the beginning, and once, if I keep on going next I or next x, you know, once the end is reached, it will give me a stop iterator error like the last time we saw. So the whole point is that it supports only here, in this case, only one iterator at a time. But suppose if I take a built-in, for example, if I say one, if I take a list, right, say y equal to that, and if I take iterator equal to y, now if I can say next I, right, and next I get that. But suppose if I do say I2 equal to, I create a new iterator out of y, the same list. Now if I do next of I2, see, it starts from the beginning. It is not starting where it left off. In this case, it supports here this built-in like 1 2 3 4, which itself is just a list, but I can make an iterator out of that, as we seen last time. But it supports multiple iterators at a time. And also one more idea here is that suppose if I say here y, if I take y and I just delete, this is deleting the rest of the item from 2 onward, 0 1, I'm deleting 3 and 4. I issue the statement. Now if I do, for example, next I, it is giving me ideally it should have given me 4, right, but there is no 4. So even though I constructed an iterator before deleting, it is still reflecting back to me the in place change that has occurred in the original list. So that we need to be mindful of that. So these are the iterator expressions, and we can write as using yield with the functions. We can also write in the form of function generators. So so these are the idea of generators. So we can write them as in a single line using regular parentheses, similar to the list comprehension idea, and we can also write them using functions with the yield expression. So thank you very much for watching.